Hey, you're now tuned in to Underdog Talk. I'm your host, Eric Jones Jr., the underdog with the heroic heart, and I have conversations with successful underdogs. And today I have Miss Julinda LeDee. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous.
That's
How
good.
are
That's
you
good.
doing?
I'm doing good. We snowed in here in Indianapolis. Well, I don't know if we necessarily snowed in yet, but the snow is coming. We got a winter storm coming, so Christmas might be a little different this year.
Okay, well, I'm in California, so I don't know.
I don't know you yet enough to say what I wanted to say, so I'm gonna leave it alone because my sister lives in Cali, so I definitely know about the warm weather. Before we get into today's conversation, today's episode is brought to you by Christian Dewan Clothing Line. That's me and my son's clothing line. We have t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts. If you use the promo code Underdog Talk, and Underdog is spelled UNDERDAWG Talk, you'll get 15% off. Go check us out. I got one of my shirts on. I don't know. I don't want to move the camera. It say dope. It say dope ass person. So that's like a shirt that's on there. I like to do stuff different. I'm not really your normal kind of guy. But let's get into today's conversation. This is Miss Speak for Your Impact. Where were you before you were speaking for an impact?
Well, I think I've always been speaking for impact because I was first invited to speak to former foster youth to support them on their journey. And I have a colorful background myself, so I've always been supportive for underdogs throughout my life, throughout my childhood. And this just developed into an amazing business. So, yes, I've always been speaking for impact.
So you say you were speaking for foster children?
Yeah, so I'm former foster youth myself, and so I work in higher education, and therefore I'm surrounded by professors. I'm surrounded by students of all ages and backgrounds, and I was invited to speak to a group of students, and I tried to politely decline because I'm not a speaker, or I did not see myself as a speaker, and the person insisted for me to speak, and I went in and I dazzled them, and I've been speaking now for more than 15 years.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So when you first went up there, you say you was like, nah, I don't really want to do it, but you did it. How were you feeling and like what was the outcome afterwards? Because I remember the first time I spoke. So when you first went up there, I'm sure you was nervous as all get up. You like, I don't want to do this, but you did it. How did you feel going in? Like when you were up there on stage talking, and then how was like afterwards? What did the people say to you?
Well, to be honest with you, I wasn't nervous like that. I was just hoping that they would receive the message because I do my homework and find out what are the issues, what are the topics, what's the end goal. So I want to make sure I can touch on those things from the person that's asking me to facilitate this conversation. So I'm not nervous on that end. I just want to make sure I can get the message through. I love people. I love speaking to people, mainly one on one. So the group setting was actually a comfortable setting for me because I felt comfortable with the group. So I felt comfortable with the topic. I felt comfortable about the engagement. The only thing was is that I had never done it before.
Mm. I remember my first time like actually speaking, like telling my story, and I was nervous. I was nervous as heck. I'm like, are these people even gonna like what I got to say? What am I supposed to say? Like, I don't even think I had a coach at the time. I just did it off of me listening to people and researching speakers. And I went up there.
Right.
I was nervous as all get up, but I went through it. And then afterwards, people were like, "Oh, we love your story, this, and that." And I was like, "Really?" Because I didn't know what a I mean, I knew what public speaking was, but not motivational speaking. So when you talk to these foster children, because I work in the school system. I've been working in the school system going in January on 6 years. So I know you get kids all kinds of it's all kinds of craziness. So when you was that who you first started speaking to for a long time, or was that like just that one time thing?
That's who I initially started speaking to, and I'm going to say that particular group was former foster group, but it was in a college setting. So I've
Mm,
been speaking in the college setting for years on different topics and various types of classrooms. So that particular group was in a reading class, but I've spoken to English 1A, 1B, English composition, critical thinking courses. I've been a guest presenter for workshops. It's just evolved into something greater. I've been invited to speak to the youth on how to prepare for college. I've been invited to speak to women's groups. This year, I spoke to a group of Jewish seniors about Juneteenth. So I've had a variety of speaking, and college has allowed me to do that again because I'm in higher education. So the age group you figure is between 18 to 65, right? So I'm speaking to mothers, I'm speaking to fathers, I'm speaking to people who've migrated to the United States. I'm speaking to people who've been incarcerated, people who've been homeless, people who've been abused. So it's just a variety of vast demographic groups of people that I've been able to come in contact with, and it just perfectly aligns with my background. Just being a former foster youth, just cycling through the system in foster homes, group homes, being homeless, and then to navigating to higher education. Now I'm an author. Now I have my master's degree. Now I'm able to assist others to give back to the homeless, to give back to my community. So it's been very enriching on both sides of the conversation and the different groups that I've been able to interact with.
I love it. I love it because it sounds like what you went through is able to help you in these different areas. Because being a black person, we go through a lot of stuff, and we're able to talk about different things to different people. And I love that you say you got to talk about Juneteenth to Jewish people, and it's like just sitting down and having those kind of conversations with different people, but you have this different background. So when you were going through the foster system and all those things, kind of like you don't have to go into depth, but just kind of tell us like how it went and how went for you.
Well, I will say it was most definitely a journey, most definitely. Just I'm going to say, it's being a woman of color, just being a woman in foster care is very challenging. There's always predators around in the community within the system. So that's just something you always have to be mindful of. You're just surrounded by people who want to use you and abuse you. So you got that element. And then you have that element of resources where people actually care and people want to help you. So and then you got yourself, right? So then you got yourself trying to conquer the insecurity and the lack of confidence and the lack of love, and dealing with the neglect and just trying to develop as a human being without that proper support system. So for myself, like I went through the ringer, not that I was a troublesome kid. Like, I didn't have any drug or alcohol problems. I didn't have any violent type of tendencies that some people may have. If anything, I did feel like I was special. I felt that I was unique. I felt that I had a voice to use and I wasn't afraid to use it. I did my first petition when I was 12 years old in the children's shelter, so we could wear our own clothing instead of the issued clothing we were given down to our underwear. So I was successful at that. So I always believed in the power of the system. So I would say that in itself empowered me, being around judges and social workers and probation officers. I felt like, yeah, I have a voice. There's an outlet for this. So I wasn't never afraid to use it. And I believe it kept me sane in one sense because I always fantasize about helping other people, either working in the medical field or working in the educational field. And luckily those fantasies, led me to where I am today. And again, I hold a master's degree and I had my first kid at 19. So, some people, they gave up on me and some people wish the best for me. But at the end of the day, it's what you want for yourself and what you believe in for yourself. And I had to learn to love myself and invest in myself. And when you do that, you separate yourself from the different shenanigans and the buffoonery that goes on, and you start to elevate more to those resources and those positive people.
I love it. I love it because you didn't like. It sounds like almost like a typical young black girl's life. Some of the stuff that you were saying, but it was different because some people deal with, oh, they're not loved by their parents. You're not loved by you. Like, okay, I'm none of y'all my parents. I gotta deal with y'all. But one thing you said, you had a voice. You always were able to use your voice. I was the same way. I might have got in trouble for using my voice because I wasn't going for no buffoonery either. Even at a young age, like I always stood up for myself. If I had something to say, I'm gonna say it. And it's funny because I asked my mom, I was like, "What do you think I was gonna be when I was a kid?" And she was like, "I don't know. Come with talking because you never would shut up." And you don't realize from being a kid that that's who you're going to be as an adult. Like you said, you've always had a voice, and guess what you do now? You use your voice. You use your voice for positivity, and you're helping those people that went through what you went through, but also just people you see. Like I'm an elementary teacher, but our school is a charter school, so there is K through 12. So I see the high schoolers, I'm coaching and doing all those different things, and you just see kids and you want to help them because you used to be where they used to be. And sometimes kids, I don't know why these kids, I don't know if I thought this way or you did as a kid, they think they know everything. And it's like, no, you don't. Let me help you out. And that's a good thing that you started off like being around judges and all those different people and understanding, hey, I can speak up. Because some kids are in foster care or in bad situations and they don't speak up, and then things happen or things have been happening and nobody can save them because they don't know. And I applaud you for that because I'm sure that was hard. Like I'm thinking of Annie when I thought of that. I'm thinking of how the movie Annie and how the lady was all mean, but Annie was the one that, hey, I ain't going for none of your crap today, whatever the lady was. And it sounded like you were the same way. So you say you had a child at 19. Did that stop you from going to college at that time, or did you continue to go to college, or did you have to track back to go to college to get your master's?
Yeah, actually, I tried going to college and I tried working and I tried raising a kid, and it was challenging on multiple fronts. I didn't have a car, so I was on the bus. Then I had to get resources, people to help me get him there, pick him up. It was a lot. And to be honest with you, my baby was getting sick, and so I took him to the doctor, and the doctor just looked at him. He goes, "He's not sick." He goes, "What is your schedule?" He was like, "You're not spending enough time with your infant." So, that really matters, the development, that we were talking about, that we may or may not have. It's important for us to be mindful to give that to our own children. And so I made the decision of dropping out of school so I could be there for my child. And me and his dad ended up working it out where we got married. And so that was helpful for a few years. It was healthy. We didn't last, unfortunately, but it gave me the motivation to go back to school eventually. So I didn't go back to school until I was 30 years old. And it was the support of my hiring supervisor, was the dean of the language arts department. And she basically said to me, she was like, "I think you're smart and I would like you to go to school." And I was like, "You know what? I'm a single mom. I got 3 kids at home. I'm working full time. I don't see that happening." And she said, "If you go back, I'll support you." And a year later, I started taking, one class at a time. I started off with African American courses, something that was, more interesting to me. And so after that, just one class at a time, it took me 7 years to earn my AA. and then another 4 to earn my undergrad. I earned a sociology degree with a minor in African American studies from San Jose State University. And then I went on to earn my master's degree from the University of San Francisco in public administration, hoping for a director's position. So, therefore, I figured my undergrad sociology is the study of people, places, and things, statistics, and then public administration, that's working at the local or state or federal level to help mold public policies and different types of administration. So I want to be in position to help those people that I've been studying about, those underdogs, those people who are underserved. Those are my passions to help uplift those, because that's what it's all about: speaking for impact, having a voice, making a difference, and turning leaders into leaders, right? So we can just spread our message of hope. So, a lot of us can be out of those situations and understand the purpose. I had to go through that so I can be the voice. I had to go through that so I can be the example. Don't give me no excuse. I can tell you anything and trump that, down to I've had to bury a baby sister, right? So if I can get through all of these horrible things that life presents to us and find the sunshine and rainbows in between, the next person can too.
I love it. I love that you said when you was 30, you went back to school. When I was 30, if somebody would have said, "Hey, you gotta go back to school," I'd have said, "Skip you. No, that ain't for me. I'm not doing none of that." And it's not the fact that, oh, I'm older, whatever. It's like I ain't been to school. Math, English, writing papers. Nah, I'm good. I didn't even do that when I was supposed to go to school. Now you want me to do it, and I don't have to do it. But in life, we have to go through some type of education, some type of learning, some type of knowledge to get us to that higher level of whatever it is. Even the sport. If you play sports, you got to study the game. You got to know your position. You got to know where you're supposed to go. You got to read the offense, read the defense, wherever you are. So it might not be school for you, whoever's listening, but at some point, you're going to have to get some kind of education, some kind of knowledge to get you from point A to point B, because if you don't have the knowledge, you're not gonna be able to get anywhere. And I love what you said. I had to go through it for the other people. You had to go through it to be able to help. I was born with this disability. It took me 30 years to figure out it was for other people. I'm like, God, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
All these surgeries are being bullied, attempt to commit suicide. Like, what's going on? Like, people talk about me, judge me because the way I look. I'm like, what? And then that first time I spoke, and they were like, your story impacted us. It did? What? Then I go talk to the youth, and they like, hey, they'll see me. They be like, hey man, I remember you from my school and this and that. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, okay, I get it now.
Yep.
So like what you just said, you excuse what? That ain't no excuse.
It is.
When people be like, oh, I gotta get surgery. Oh, what kind of surgery? Oh, I'm just getting my tooth out. If you don't go sit your butt down somewhere, I done had all these different surgeries, and it's like, but sometimes you can't be like that to people because everybody's pain is different. But it's like, you got that
Right.
little in and out surgery. I ain't trying to hear all that. Or you got a little pain. It's like, I'm not trying to hear that because I've went through all the stuff that you needed to go through. So let me tell you how to get to the next level. And that's
Right.
what you're saying. It's like I didn't been through everything that you could throw at me, and I'm gonna keep going. Because people forget you already been through the hardest shit that you had to go through. When you went through your hardest struggle being in foster care and being a kid. Oh, I can get over that. I can get okay, I ain't worried about you. And when you realize
Right.
you already overcame the obstacles that you needed to get to the next level, life would be a lot easier. So
Right.
the
Sometimes I wonder, because I'm 51, I'll be 52 February. And it's just interesting having this journey, right? And you mentioned your disability. I just had this conversation with one of my sisters in Arizona because her youngest child was born unable to walk and use his hands with full mobility. And she was stating how he's having several surgeries as yourself, and they're eventually putting him in a mobile machine to help him learn how to walk, right? And so I just said what I said to you, and I said, you know what? We are all here for a purpose, and that little baby, he's here to teach empathy and compassion. And we have to go through things to understand that, because if we don't, we take life for granted. We all have a purpose. And it's like what you said, when I was younger, I used to say, why me? And I met a young man who was abandoned. His father was dead, and he was sent from the Netherlands to California, not knowing anyone. And he came to me in tears. And I'll be honest with you, I said, now I know why me, because he came to me because I can identify with him and I can show compassion and empathy. But if I wasn't in situations and live with people with different backgrounds, then I wouldn't have that same understanding. I wouldn't have that same knowledge and background to give him what he needed. So it's just amazing when we finally tap into our purpose. We all have something to offer. We all have something to give. But what happens is we're so into our head that we don't listen to what our heart says, right? And then we have people who judge us and who call us names and make us feel some type of way. But once we realize our purpose, oh my goodness, the sun just shines. And like you said, people are recognizing, coming up to you. It's the same thing. It's just amazing how that light, it's not only illuminates for you, but illuminates for me and it illuminates for others. And it's just fascinating when you realize purpose, but you gotta get out your own head. You gotta stop having pity parties. You gotta stop talking to those fake friends. I call them pretend friends, the figment of your imagination. You know, negativity does not exist. We make it exist. We form it like a little pretend friend. And when we get lonely, our little friend talks to us, tells us things that we shouldn't hear, right? And then we have to recalibrate, be like, okay, I have a goal. I have a reason why I want to do something. So yeah, that self-discovery, you know, it's every day, it's ongoing, but you got to embrace it and know that it exists.
Man, self-discovery every day. Like you find out stuff about yourself. Like I'd be like, what? But it's about self-awareness too. Because I think during COVID, for me, I looked at it as God was sitting us down. Because some of us needed to sit down and get our stuff together inside of us. It's not always, oh, I gotta lose this weight or I gotta do that. No, you need to get you together inside so you can stop playing the blame game or oh, it's that person's fault. It's that no, it's your fault. It's your fault because you let it happen. You made the choice to go over there with him. You made the choice to go over there with her, to hang out with your homies, and now you locked up because y'all made a dumb decision. It's your fault. You have to find, like you said, that self-discovery and who you are to be able to have those boundaries, to not have those pretend friends. I don't listen. I go to sleep at a certain time. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'm not gonna respond. I have boundaries. I don't really get on the phone and have small talk unless I really want to talk to you. Like you should
Right.
know that. Like that's just who I am, and people don't. People care about what other people think. I don't care what you think. I don't care about nobody. I don't care who don't like me. And it took years to get there to realize like everybody ain't like Jesus. Everybody not gonna like me. And people be like, don't compare yourself. I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but if everybody didn't like Jesus, then everybody, I ain't going to expect everybody to like me. And when you realize everybody's not for you, then you can you're comfortable being yourself. I'm comfortable being me. I'm comfortable being that teacher that didn't go to school for education, that didn't, oh, I wanted to be a teacher. I barely wanted to be a student. So it's like now I'm a teacher. It's like, okay, how can I impact these kids from my perspective, from who I am as Eric Jones Jr., not from how the school want me to do it, not from how my co-teacher, not how the other teachers, they always, teachers are weird. What are they doing in their class? I don't give a damn. What we doing in our class? That's what we need to worry about. How we gonna help the kids that we got, not everybody else. So that self discovery and that actually liking yourself. I don't think people actually like themselves, and that be the problem. Because that's when the pretend friends come, or that little devil on the shoulder come, and they be like, "Oh yeah, you should go over here," and then you don't have no real friend, or you don't even love yourself enough to have that good person on your shoulder and say, "No, don't go do that." So self discovery is definitely important, and awareness of yourself is definitely important. One thing you said earlier, the guy came up to you crying. We don't realize how much we can handle from somebody else's end. Like somebody coming up and crying. I remember my grandfather died, and my mom and grandma came up, ugly, cry, snotting all on me, and I'm like, "What the heck am I supposed to do?" But then I realized I'm the only guy around. I gotta be strong for that for them, and we gotta be strong for others. Because you could have had a weak moment of like, "Hey man, I don't know why you crying," or you could have been crying with them, and y'all just crying, and whatever happened wouldn't have happened because you weren't strong enough. But like you said, you went through all those different scenarios. So then now you like, okay, I get it. I get it. It's not why not me. I mean, why me? It's why not me. So you're able to help different people. So you said who's your audience? Because you said you talk to everybody, or do you have an audience, or do you talk to whatever the topic is? Since you work in education.
Yeah, I can talk on any topic, I believe. I'm very well rounded, very versed. So the basic topics, of any day: empowerment, growth, confidence, self-esteem, whether it's speaking to the youth or speaking to women's groups or speaking to the seniors. I've even spoken to an audience of 100 men in LA one time. That was a great opportunity through A2 Men. It's an educational program that supports men of color. So I've been able to speak to various groups on various topics. So I'm available as a keynote speaker, a workshop presenter, even as a confidant, because some people just need that ear. I'm working with a woman right now. She's retired, but she wants to become a translator for the consulate. So I'm giving her ideas. I'm supporting her. She sent me her resume, so I'll be meeting with her, updating that. So I can do one-on-one. I can do groups, but basically, I'm just there to help inspire you to reach whatever goal it is. And we all need that push, right? No matter what it is that we're trying to do, even if you're a student and you have homework, sometimes you might procrastinate, but if your friend tells you they're working on their project, that encourages you. So we just try to do things to support each other in the community, and that's the role I believe that I play. I'm just another vessel, that was sent here to inspire and to encourage and to support. And I enjoy it, and it gives me so much joy within. I get excited because it's not tangible, but you can feel it. It's like you can hold the energy in your hand, but you can't buy it anywhere, right? So that's just something that I enjoy is just walking in purpose because it's fulfilling.
I love that. And like you said, it's not tangible. Like when you go speak and then like people come up to you afterwards, it's like most wonderful. It's like winning a championship in a sport. Like you like, I got a victory today. Now I didn't took some L's speaking because I went in with the wrong approach and some kids got on my head.
Yeah.
I remember that first time and I was like, oh, okay, I gotta because excuse me, because speaking isn't like, oh, okay, I can talk, I'm gonna just go up here. No, you ain't gonna. You could go up there and talk all you want to. You ain't gonna get paid for it. It's like you have to learn the strategies, learn all the different things, and I had to do that. And when I did it, and I learned how to go up there and talk, it's the best feeling. One of the best feelings for me is so I'm going. I'm got a haircut, right? So I'm walking home because the barbershop ain't too far. So I live in the hood, and I'm walking past the liquor store, and there's some young boys in the car, and one of them like, "Hey, come here." I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I don't really know what they own. They might ask me if I want to buy some or whatever. But I see three of them. So I got this little rock on my key. So I wrap it around my hand, like, all right, I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm gonna be ready. Dude was like, hey man, you don't remember me, but you came and spoke at the detention center, and I seen you walking or whatever. And I was like, whew, I'm like, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm doing good or whatever. And like his homies didn't even, they doing whatever they was doing. And it was just good that he spoke to me. Like he noticed me just walking down the street and stopped me. I'm scared as all get up because I don't know what's about to happen, but it's somebody that remembered me and I impacted their life from speaking. And that's one of the greatest feelings to have.
Yeah.
Like you can't buy it and you can't go to Amazon and prime it and get it at your house tomorrow. Like you got to actually go through stuff. Like everything we went
Mm-hmm.
through is the satisfaction of just going to talk to people and helping them change their mindset. And it's like, wow, it's I can't even explain it like in words. Like it gave me goosebumps just even going to speak. So I definitely know how it is for you to go and speak to different people, and you get to speak to different like different people. Like you say, you spoke to just men, you speak to women, old, young. I ain't at that place yet. I don't know if the old people, or let me not say that, the seasoned people would accept me because I'm a little different. But I understand what you're saying with living out your purpose. So
Yeah.
when you're living out your purpose, do you still go through stuff?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm going through something right now. And let me tell you, honey, you are my blessing today. So let me just share this with you real quick. I have been working on getting a promotion at work for the last 4 years. And it got real messy, probably for various reasons. I'm a beautiful Black woman. So there it is. So, anyway, the position finally came up. I got the position at my job to move forward. 4 years of fighting with the union, with the presidents, with the dean, whatnot. I finally get interviewed. I did not get the job. This just happened this week. I got the bad news. So I've been trying to have a pity party, but it's limited because my phone or my alarm is going off because I have a commitment. So this morning I woke up trying to have a pity party and my alarm went off because I had a podcast today. I said, oh my goodness, I got something to do. I don't even have time to count. So I get up, I take my shower, I leave, I go down to the soul food restaurant. I see a beautiful older Black couple. I start talking to the woman. I said, I'm a motivational speaker. I pull out a flyer. She's a CNA. Her husband, he was like, is your name Julinda? I follow you on Facebook. I was like, oh my goodness. So then he and we have a positive exchange. Then I get out to the parking lot and I start talking to two women and I hand them my flyer. I said, I'm a motivational speaker. I speak to various groups. And the woman was like, oh, I work for a nonprofit. I work with the youth. I work for women's groups. I think you would be a perfect addition. And so I just laughed at myself. I said, this is amazing. Like, I'm always trying to walk in the light, but then I try to make time for a pity party and I can't because the light is so bright. It's like we don't have time for that, right? We got things to do. So, yes, things happen, but you know what? I know what my destiny is, and that's what reminds me. I'm still in the flow, I'm still moving forward. So, no matter what hiccups happen in my life, I know there's something greater. And even the gentleman, he gave me confirmation. I shared with him this story. I said, you are part of my day. You are part of my energy. And he said to me, something greater is going to happen for you, something that you deserve, and something so much more. And I just said, thank you. And I was like, can I have a hug? So I hugged them both. And it was amazing feeling. And you just added to my day as well that, you know what, we're forging on no matter what happens in the day.
I asked that question because I want people that's listening to understand you go through stuff when you're going after your dreams and your goals, when you're living out your purpose, when you're doing what you're supposed to, you still go through stuff. And that's funny that you have that story. So I was coaching basketball. I haven't really told anybody, I ain't made no post about it, but I got fired from coaching because of my mouth. And my mouth, when it comes to basketball, I'm not the motivational speaker, Eric. I'm a different person. And so this has been me like kind of my whole life. And it was a wake-up call for me. I was hurt. I'm like, man, I can't coach I was only an assistant coach, so it was like I know they in good hands with the other coach. but it was a wake up call. Like you can't react the way you used to react all the time in different places. You're a public figure, so you can't be Eric from Michigan City, Henry Street. You can't be Rena Mae grandson. You got to be Eric Jones Jr., like the teacher, the public person. And it's funny because I got let go. It was kind of handled in a bad way. I understand. I'm a black man. People are intimidated by it. They don't want to have a conversation. They'd rather just say, "Hey, I'm gonna let you go." But anyways, so the next day, I was sending out emails like I've been sending out emails. A D1, a big D1 school, emails me back like, hey, the guy emails me first. Hey, this is in my department, but I'm gonna send it over to the right people, and if they want to work with you, they'll send you an email. Lady sends me an email. Hey, we're kind of filled up for the calendar for the year, but just send me your information and we'll see if we got any opportunities. Haven't heard anything back from her, but she said their calendar is full.
Mm.
But that just let me know it's greater out there than me. Like nothing wrong with coaching in high school, but if I get a D1 contract to go speak, that little check that I was getting the coach ain't gonna be nothing. And I could have had a pity party. I couldn't even go to the game. I was like, if I go to this game, I'm gonna be in the stands crying because that's how passionate I am about basketball. But just like you, it's like I don't need to. It's something greater out there for me. And sometimes, as you're going on your journey, you can get let go or you don't get the position you want. It's because it's not for you. It's something bigger and better out there for both of us. It's like, all right, you got the confirmation today from the several people you talked to, and then I got the confirmation just from the email. Nothing's been signed. We ain't get to speak nowhere. Nothing. We just know the opportunity's there. And that's what you have to look at in your life. You can't look at, oh, I heard no, oh, they shut the door on me. Oh, well, that means you weren't supposed to go there. God will close the door for you so he can open another door for you. Just because that door get closed don't mean that it's over with. It's like, oh, oh my God, what I'm going to do now? Keep going.
Right.
So before we get to the end and where you tell people how they can reach you, I need 3 tips on people that are just like they kind of maybe know their purpose, they kind of don't, but they know it's more than what they're doing now. What are 3 things that they can do that are tangible that they can do to maybe move the needle toward finding out their purpose or living out their purpose?
Well, one of the first things that I always ask people to do is really to affirmate themselves every single day. So when we wake up in the morning, I wake up, I say I'm smart, I'm pretty, I'm intelligent, I got a little theme going. So sometimes we have to inspire ourselves, right? So that's off top. What is your mindset when you wake up? And everyone wants to feel accomplished. So I'm going to say the first thing to do to feel accomplished every single day is to make your bed. Make your bed before you leave the house because you want to be accomplished and therefore you're establishing your foundation of the day by completing a task, being tidy and being clean. And that sets your mindset. So I'm going to say when you wake up in the morning, you wake up and you be like, I'm going to have a fabulous day. I'm absolutely amazing. Now I'm going to make my bed and I'm going to be accomplished. So every day you have something to be satisfied about. And it may seem small, but trust me, it's big because it's setting the tone. And therefore, whatever you do, I'm going to suggest you write it down. It doesn't take that long. I mean, I give myself 30 minutes. Some people give themselves 15 or 20. But I sit down in the morning, I have my coffee or tea, I listen to something positive, or I say my prayers, and I journal something down. I say, I'm going to have an amazing day. I'm going to be successful today. I trust in my Lord and Savior today. So, whatever it is that you're working on, solidify that, write it down, put that into the universe because that is part of the journey is believing in something every day because you are going to have those days where you doubt yourself. If it's not for a day, it might be for a moment. But when you go back and you look at your writings and you look that your bed has been made, you see that you have things to do and to feel accomplished. So, yes, let's just do something every day just to build that momentum of accomplishing something and feeling successful.
I love that because it's simple. To make your bed, it don't take more. Depending on how you make your bed, you could be the military person, but it don't take that long, and you accomplish something. First thing in the morning, you accomplish something already. Now you like, okay, I didn't make got a small win for the day. How can I build on it? That's one thing I got to get back to doing is making my bed. And making your bed make your room look cleaner. Because I'm not junky, but I had like I don't know what clothes I'm gonna wear, clothes everywhere. But your bed, man, you could throw the clothes on there now. It don't look as junky. So make your bed every day.
Mhm.
Like I'm going to attest to making my bed every day. Um,
Okay.
for 2023 because I did it before because
Okay.
somebody else said like just make that a habit. I remember a guy was like he forgot to make his bed, went back home to do it just to get it done. And then affirmations. Affirmations are very important. Like I do it with my son.
Yeah.
I try not to forget, or if I don't talk to him in the morning, I tell his mom to do it. Hopefully she does just little affirmations just so he can feel that positivity, and then I'm saying it with him, so it's giving me that positive because you need positivity when you wake up, because sometimes you wake up on the wrong
Mhm.
side of the bed, sometimes you didn't get enough sleep, sometimes it's Monday morning, which I don't know what that means anymore, but people think, oh, it's Monday, oh it's Wednesday, oh it's Friday, every day is the same if you attack the day is the same way. So I love those tips. I always ask for a quote. It could be your quote. It could be a quote you read. It could be a quote you saw. But we need a quote.
Well, my favorite quote is, "We are all uniquely designed." And that goes back to what you said. If you realize that you are uniquely designed, you will never compare yourself to anyone or any label, because you are here for your own purpose and your own purpose only. And the only reason why you feel uncomfortable is because you're looking at someone else's life and not your own. So you are uniquely designed.
I love. Trust me, I love that. I'm uniquely designed for real, for real. Tell people how they can reach you on social media and all those good things.
Oh my goodness, yes. Please subscribe to my YouTube. I need some YouTube subscribers. You can find me, Julinda LeDee. I do motivational speaking, a little tidbits of poetry, a little sexy, some consciousness, some giving thanks to my Lord. So it's something for everyone. I have some motivational speaking pieces, but yeah, find me. I'm available for hire. I have a website, speakforimpact.com. You can Google me. You can find me on Amazon. I have 3 poetry books on there. It's called It's Love, The Basking and Blessing, and The Dark Truth Married to a Narcissist. I've been married twice. So you can find me anywhere, and I'm available on LinkedIn as well. So look for me.
Google her. Go to her YouTube and make sure you subscribe. Go to my YouTube. Go to the YouTube when you watch this video. Subscribe. I've got more subscribers, but subscribe to the channel. I'm just saying. I mean, you watch the videos, like subscribe. You know, I don't got sexy or nothing on my page, but I got a little funny. I got a little ratchet, a little motivation. I got a little bit of everything. I don't know about the sex. I ain't really dressed her. I
We
used
don't
to
have
be,
ratchet. We don't do ratchet over here.
okay. You don't do ratchet. I don't do sexy. So okay, it's 2 different pages. You can find sexy over there and ratchet over here. But I appreciate you. Excuse me. I appreciate you coming on, reaching out. I appreciate what you do. I love what you do, and thank you for what you do because you're not just helping people there, you're helping people all over because you kind of where it's warm, which I don't like right now, and I'm kind of where it's cold, so we're on 2 different sides of the US, so you're not just touching people just where you're at, you're touching people all over. So I appreciate you for coming on. And do you have any closing words? That's not always when I say that it sounds church, it sounds like I'm at church. You got any closing words though?
I just want to say to everyone, you know what? It's all about love, because when you love yourself, you'll love the people around you and you'll love the decisions you make for yourself. So remember, your thoughts turn into action. So let your thoughts be filled with love.
And on that note, peace.